Hello friends and enemies, welcome to or back to Happy For Now. It's me, Isabel, here with a late video because here's the deal. If you're watching this today, it came out this Monday. I got sick right at the end of the year, beginning of the year, so I have just been on my butt. And if I hadn't already filmed it, it didn't happen. So if there's any weird jump cuts in this video, it's because I had a cough. And it is what it is. So we're gonna get through this. This should be pretty quick. This is my December stats and highs and lows, surprises. I do this instead of a full wrap-up since I tend to read quite a bit in a month and also do separate manga videos now. So we'll talk about my manga log like literally tomorrow. So you'll get this video and I think the manga log's the next day. So like it's just going to be a busy week of videos. I'm going to just kind of catch myself up to be set back to my regular schedule. Because end of year content's coming and I want to talk about the books I loved this year and hated and DNF'd and all the things. But yeah, I got sick at the end of the year. So that was a fun time. What a way to welcome the new year, but it is what it is. It's fine. I am negative for all the things I tested, so we're just vibing with it. You know, it is what it is. Let's dive in, though, to talk about December's reading, because it was a weirdly better month than I expected. December's a month that I either read a whole bunch or I don't read anything at all, I feel like, just because it's so busy. And we spent, you know, time away and with family and all that and just a lot going on. So yeah, let's talk about how much I read in December. Stats-wise, I read 28 books for 5,411 pages, an average rating of 4.08, 15 hours of audiobooks, which, like, not a surprise. It is not a time that I'm audiobooking a ton. 7 of the books came from Kindle Unlimited, so that's fantastic. I'm really proud of myself for how much KU I read in December. For age demographics, I read 18 adult books and 10 YA books. And then our format breakdown is 9 ebooks and 9 audios, which is amazing. I'm so surprised I was like even on this, but not because some of the project videos. And then I did read 10 volumes of manga. In the future, just so you know, in February, manga stats will be in the manga video. I have 2 separate spreadsheets that I'm using in 2024. What year are we in? We're in 2024. Oh my gosh. So I'm doing 2 different trackings, so I will be able to actually share like manga stats specifically, and they won't be part of my reading stats, which is kind of going to be interesting to see. Goodreads, Storygraph, those places will be a combined stats, but I think it'll be interesting to see what my averages for ratings look like without manga in there, because they definitely inflate my scores. All right, read what you own update. I don't really have much for December, but I do want to let you know where we're starting, and we'll talk about this again in February for the year as far as my numbers. So I'm starting 2024 with 761 unread Kindle books, 102 unread books on NetGalley, 43 on Edelweiss, 129 on Libro FM, 208 on Audible, 202 unread manga volumes, 32 unread digital manga volumes, 9 unread light novels, and 91 unread physical books approximately. So my goals I talked about is kind of to get 200 plus of these read. I ideally would like to get my Kindle library under 500 maybe this year and just start cycling out some of these books that I've been sitting on for years as someone whose first Kindle was a Kindle keyboard. Like, I've been buying free books for a long time and books that I've just never read now. So are they really doing me any good? I don't know. But yeah, that's kind of our read what you own start base for January. So just a little preview, because we will discuss that more in depth in February, obviously, when we wrap up January's reads. All right, let's dive into my lows. We only have 2 this month, and honestly, I think that's a win. I think this is like one of those things where I could have included more, but I didn't want to like overdo it, because I did do that like reading funky books for Christmas, like as a present for y'all. Because I know, not everyone, but I know I have a group of y'all who like love when I do my weird reading vlogs. So I do want to keep doing them, and I just kind of had a big enough list this year again to do it. And I think I still have a list for next year. So, you know, if you got a holiday and like ideas or thoughts on ones, you can send them my way. It's fine. I'll make it happen eventually. But let's talk about these lows. First of all, an unsurprising low is going to be Romantic Comedy by Curtis Sittenfeld. I don't know. I read this for the Goodreads vlog, and I'm going to attempt, listen, I will say this right now, I'm going to attempt for my worst books of the year not to be all from the Goodreads videos, but I don't know yet. I really don't know yet. But this book for me was just misery. I DNF'd it. Like, it's a low and a DNF for me, because I literally put it down because I was like 20-some% in and like nothing was happening. There felt like no romance, and then everyone in the comments confirmed. And those of you who love their writing from Curtis, I enjoyed it for different reasons, but also said it wasn't her best. So like, I don't think I was wrong, But my God, that book was a slog. And it only was 3 chapters. Which, like, if a book's a slog and it has chapters, I can, like, set up goalposts of, like, okay, I gotta get through the next chapter, 3, 4 chapters. I can't, like, I have no goalpost here. I have nothing to, like, aim for. And no. All right, next we have Frisky the Snowman, which I'm not gonna say was a low of lows, but I just am so deeply uncomfortable with things about Frisky the Snowman because, like, it is bonkers. Listen, our author knew what she was doing. She leaned in. She delivered on that. But it was a low because, like, I can't look at carrots the same way right now. I don't even feel like I can look at snow the same way right now, or a snowman. Like, I think that snowmen are ruined for me for a solid, like, season at least. And who knows, maybe longer, because I may just terrorize Shay and May with snowmen whenever I see them now because of this freaking book. Literally because of this book. And I am just like, yikes, you know? Like, it was so weird because she builds a snowman to bone, basically, and then, of course, the snowman comes to life. And it just, like, the use of carrots so much, and then when he became man-like, his business was still carrot-like. I'm trying to keep this PG. I don't know why. I don't keep any other things PG on my channel. Whatever. No thank you. No thank you. This is also in that vlog, and there's some of our reactions reading it in this vlog from a live we did with members. That was fantastic and delightful. I highly recommend checking that out if you're curious about it. But yeah, I had such an interesting time. It was just such an interesting time. So recommend, don't recommend. I don't know. May, who does not read weird romances, read it with us, so I don't know what that says about this book. I think she read enough reviews that she was, like, so curious she had to find out for herself, so we did a little live buddy read together. All right, let's talk about my surprises for the month. This was hard to keep, also not Christmassy, but that's kind of all I read in December to an extent. So first of all, I had to put All He Wants for Christmas is a Fingerling Potato on the surprise list. Another one from that same blog. Because, okay, this has been on my radar for a while, first of all. I need to note that. I have heard about this book. I have watched other people read this book. I've read live threads of reading this book. I've watched people on TikTok read this book. It has been on my list. I was like, there's just, you know, I'm prepped. I'm prepped for this book. I know what's coming. I know how bonkers it is. And I still was not prepped for this book. Like, I don't think you can prep yourself for this book. I feel like this is one of those things where this author committed to impreg and a potato shifter, the town weirdness. Like, this author committed to the bit. And I will never get over the idea of a wolf shifter carrying a potato around in his mouth because it's his mate. I can't. I cannot. Or a potato that's, like, rolling around in the dirt to give birth. My full unfiltered reactions to this book are obviously in that blog, but yeah, I still occasionally think about this book. It did not ruin potatoes for me, thankfully. I think because it wasn't that potato-y based, it just, like the potato shifter community was very interesting. They literally eat the bad potatoes. So, like, the potato community is cannibals, I guess, because they eat each other when they're bad. The elders eat the potato, the bad potato. I don't know how I feel about that. I just think that's real weird punishment system. But yeah, I was just so surprised by this because I think it exceeded even my bonkers expectations for this story somehow. I don't know how, but it did, and here we are. The other thing is I did actually end up really loving the Toy Runner series by Adriana Herrera. I do think they're overpriced though. I will say that. I said that in the video a bunch, and I still think they're a little expensive for what they are, okay? But they're real good. They're on Everand, formerly Scribd, or Scribed, whatever you want to call it. And I think they're also on Hoopla. So, like, those are great ways to listen to them. I think they're worth a listen. I could see myself revisiting them. It's a 3-book trilogy following families that help Santa basically run toys in different parts of the world. And it's really fun, and they're really smutty, and they're short, and they're perfectly, like, on theme without being too on theme. Our first one is a Lady Santa, and it's sapphic, and we have really fun themes around toys going on in this one, like adult toys going on in this one, and I love that element. I think it was really, really fun to read. Yeah, I just think these were a blast. And I knew I would like them because a lot of people I know like them, but I was just nervous. I don't know. I get nervous when too many people I know like a thing. I'm like, what if I hate it? I don't want to be the only one who hates it. But I had a blast with these, and I really do think they are such a fun read. All right, let's talk about highs of December. First things first, The Woman in Me by Britney Spears. I read the memoir. I listened to it on Spotify because I wanted to try their audiobook platform. I actually really enjoyed this a lot more than I expected. It was really hard though and heavy to listen to / read. I was really glad Brittany wasn't the narrator. I do think it was a good choice to use another one. Her little intro was great. It's a very heavy book for how short it is though. And I think it just reignited my sympathy towards just the awful treatment she's faced, honestly. And, you know, just like, it was just better than I expected. It's still a memoir. I'm not going to rate somebody's life, but I do think I went into it like not expecting to enjoy it quite as much as I did. Next, I have A More Actually. So this is a collection of short stories by a bunch of Latina authors that I've read a lot from before. I think I've read from almost all of them. Maybe one or two I hadn't read from before. But anyways, I picked this up at like a Polycon last year, and I knew I wanted to read it, and I got like a lot of it signed. And I'm really happy I finally did. It is actually, I feel so dumb. I didn't realize this. It's a Love Actually retelling, basically. But I don't like Love Actually, and I really liked this, so I'm surprised at how much I liked it. I thought that most of the stories were really good. I think they tied into each other really well. And it just was a fun time. Like, it was just a fun way to spend the holidays reading through these different stories. We had a variety of steam levels, a variety of pairings, which I really enjoyed as well. Like, it just was a fun time. And I was nervous because usually I come out of these kinds of bind-ups with a couple I really don't like, but most of these I was like, these are fine. So for me, that was a big surprise that I liked majority of the stories and didn't have big complaints about any of them. Again, not usually what happens to me with these kinds of things. Okay, so let's talk about the book that kept me up all night. I was up until like almost 4 in the morning reading this. I didn't quite finish it. I started it late. It was like probably after midnight. Anyways, it's fine. I made a mistake, but it was the best mistake possible, and that book is Collide by Bal Cabra? I think that's right. I might be wrong. Anyways, this is a hockey book that recently got picked up. It was on KU, and I kept it on KU. When I saw it got picked up, I was like, don't return this. And I decided to start it because I just was not in a great mood. And I was like, I need a hockey romance. And you know what? Everything I've seen about this is everything I love. Like, he falls first, and she is like a very kind of grumpy, driven person, and he kind of derails her a little bit on her project that she has to complete. I think this is a better icebreaker. I think if you've liked Icebreaker but didn't love it, you will like Collide a lot more than likely. If the reasons you didn't like Icebreaker were around like the characters kind of and the storytelling overall, I think this had a better villain for me and a better enemy to the story. But overall, I had a lot more fun with this than Icebreaker. I still like Icebreaker, do not get me wrong, but this was way more fun in my opinion. So I enjoyed it so much. It is one of my favorites for the year maybe, and this is why I don't cut off my reading in December too early, because sometimes this happens. Sometimes I find a new favorite right at the end of the year. But yeah, I absolutely loved Collide. I'm still thinking about this book. I am so happy I read it. I'm excited to see where the rest of the series goes. I just had such a fun time with our two main characters. Summer, our female main character, was just an absolute delight. And what was his name? Aiden, our hero. I think they were just such a fun pairing. I can see them together. I don't feel like either one's settling. I don't feel like, I don't know, it worked really well for me overall. I just think it was really cute. Extremely engaging read, which was exactly what I needed in that moment. So it was great because I stayed up all night, read it, and then I woke up the next morning, did what I needed to do, and then I laid back in bed in the afternoon, I think, and finished the book because it was like that liminal space between holidays. It'll be in my next vlog, but such a good time. Highly, highly recommend. The other high I would say was 7 Year Slip, which I saved for my last read of the Goodreads challenge on purpose. I really liked The Dead Romantics, and I really enjoyed the 7 Year Slip. I do think 7 Year Slip borders on litfic with romantic themes more than a romance that feels litfic, if that makes any sense. I feel like the people who get it, but if you don't, that's okay too. Anyways, I enjoyed this a lot. I think this was a really engaging story. I continue to just really love Ashley Poston's adult romances. I really liked her YA books too, so I'm not surprised. I think they just kind of always deliver to me, and to some extent. Do I think it's like as amazing as everyone that loved it thought? No, probably not. But I still think it's one of those books that kind of just is going to stick with me a little bit. I like how the time slip concept worked in this. I wasn't sure how I would feel about it. I've not read many time slip books, to be honest with you. It's not really like my jam. I'm like indifferent to it. So reading this and like enjoying it as much as I did was a nice surprise and treat for myself. And I just think it was so fun how the two of them, ended up meeting again in the future, and then like had to like discuss the weird time thing. Like I thought that was really interesting. And discussing like that was yesterday for you and it was 7 years ago for me. I think that was a really fascinating aspect. And I did like how she tied in the publishing world again, but it wasn't the same as like the Dead Romantics necessarily was. So that was also really enjoyable. But yeah, I really enjoyed this book. I think it was really fun. That's it for December. I would love to know what your favorite read of December was. Did you like cut your reading off or anything early? Did you find a surprise read at the last, like that last little weird week of the month? And if you don't want to do that, let me, or also always, as always, you can tell me your low or your negatives. I love to hear what you didn't like. I think it's so fascinating. As always, you can do that, or you can leave me a cold related emoji in the comments. So cold weather or sick cold, since your girl is feeling it. I will be back in another day with another video. Like I said, we're gonna have a little blast of a lot of videos, but I promise you it will come down literally by Friday. Like you will be back to normal schedules. But I just want to get everything out and up before it's kind of like end of year content hitting, because your first end of year video is coming on like Wednesday. So get excited. I am going to go and try to sit down for a minute to let myself feel a little better, maybe. But yeah, we're going to go do that. And okay, I'll be back to talk to y'all in a few days. I have links to everything down below for you. Links to me, my friend on the internet. And I will see y'all then. Bye.
Come with me. I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distractions. We'll get away, this is what we waited for.